There is this Minnesota Vikings statistic that Vikings fans are losing their mind about. And I took a look at this statistic, and it's hard not to, but in a way, I think it reveals a Minnesota Vikings weakness as much as it promotes a strength from the Minnesota Vikings. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I believe that a Kevin O'Connell weakness was exposed as Minnesota Vikings fans caught eye of this eye-popping statistic. But first, I need to tell you about 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis because they transformed our bathroom in 48 hours, and they will transform your bathroom in 48 hours. That's their promise. Our original bathroom had blue floors, blue step walking into the shower, a moldy shower. It was ugly, outdated, and disgusting, and really unhealthy. That's why we wanted a transformation. But we didn't want to wait 8 to 10 weeks to get it done. We wanted it done now, and then we found 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis, and they transformed our bathroom in 48 hours. A new floor, a new tub, a new surround, a new mirror, a new vanity, new countertops, and we went from 1 sink to 2 sinks. All of this was done in 2 days, and we had our bathroom back. No, don't cram into your teeny tiny bathroom in the basement of your house while you're trying to get ready for work and your kids are trying to get ready for school. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis will remodel your bathroom in 48 hours. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. Affordable payment plans and free consultations. All right, this statistic that I'm telling you about, it really is eye-popping because the Minnesota Vikings are so far one way and there aren't any other teams near the Minnesota Vikings standard of excellence. However, it all depends on how you want to see it. So I'm going to share the screen with you. I found this on X by someone that posted it. The poster is Ian Hartitz. Huh? Who? And it says completions and touchdowns on throws 20 plus yards downfield in 2023-2024. And it has a line on one side called completions, a line on the bottom called touchdowns, and the Minnesota Vikings have the most amount of completions, near 70, and the Vikings have the most amount of touchdowns, about 17 or 18. And that compares to the Packers' completions of 60 and 8 touchdowns. The Eagles have 16 touchdowns and 45 completions. The Kansas City Chiefs have 30 completions and 0 touchdowns. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, over 50 completions and 0 touchdowns. You would almost think that this would be a lie chart because of the amount of touchdowns for the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So you look at this chart and it really is extraordinarily crazy because we know that Kevin O'Connell likes to throw the ball down the field. That is what he likes to do. We know that Kevin O'Connell likes to open up the offense and really let it loose, especially because it was or is Sam Darnold's greatest strength. But to see that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes had no touchdowns over 20 plus yards is mind-blowing. And I really think that this does expose a Kevin O'Connell and Vikings weakness that not everybody wants to admit or look at. Thor Nystrom, very influential and impactful voice for the Vikings on podcasts. Score North, he's on Purple Daily, and other ones like Fantasy Football Weekly. Commented and responded, JJ, because he's a big JJ McCarthy guy. And when you look at this statistic and these numbers, it's hard not to picture JJ McCarthy in this offense. But here's where it becomes a problem. It became a problem last year in the first round of the NFC playoffs, in the wild card round, when the Minnesota Vikings couldn't generate any offense and Darnold was getting sacked because the Minnesota Vikings were looking at making a big play down the field. And this is where Kevin O'Connell could approve his offensive game planning and his offensive play calls. You don't always have to hit home runs. You don't always have to throw the ball 20 plus yards down the field for touchdowns and completions. It's nice to score, but sometimes what you have to do is that you have to paper cut a team to death and wear out that defensive line and wear out those cornerbacks. Because as much as we all love the bomb, Cunningham to Moss, Culpepper to Moss, Favre to Sidney Rice, Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs, Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson, 40, 50, 60-yard bombs. And when you see that bomb up in the air, there's nothing cooler than rising off your couch, anticipating the catch from one of your best wide receivers in football, Justin Jefferson. We all love the bomb. The bomb is the most exciting play in football. The problem with the bomb is that when you paper cut a team to death and score touchdowns that way of scoring is much more deflating and much more exhausting on opposing defenses. To be on the field for 12 plays to try to stop an offense is much more exhausting than being on the field for 5 to 6 plays. It's not as deflating for a team to throw a 40-yard bomb, 20-yard bomb, and scoring a touchdown. It's much more deflating to think that you're going to stop somebody, but they just kind of paper cut you to death down the field. 5-yard pass here, 6-yard pass here, 3-yard pass there, first down. 3-yard run here, 5-yard pass here, 4-yard run here, first down. And that is what the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills did really well last year, even with two of the best quarterbacks in football. So I look at what the Vikings did last year, and the numbers are absolutely bonkers. To have the second best team in the league have 16 touchdowns. The Vikings had 18 touchdowns. Vikings had 18 touchdowns and 70 completions. The Eagles had 16 touchdowns and 40 completions. So the Eagles almost had the same amount of touchdowns as the Vikings, but the Vikings almost doubled their completion percentage. And you look at, or completion total, and you look at where the Vikings are in the touchdown ratio, they're at 18. And you look at where the Chiefs are, together, the Vikings had about, between the completions and the touchdowns, 70, 78, 88 combined. The Chiefs had 30 completions and 0 touchdowns. It's not even close. Yet, I don't think there's a world where you would take an offense run by Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and replace that with Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold. Now, you do have to be fair and look at things a little objectively because Sam Darnold's greatest strength was throwing the football down the field. His greatest strength was finding Jefferson and Addison and them boys deep because Darnold had an arm, and he is best utilized throwing the football down the field. However, it doesn't have to be this intense. You're literally calling the bomb on every play, and the Vikings offense got exposed in the playoffs when those plays that took a long time to develop couldn't develop because Darnold held on to the football too long and was getting sacked. So as much as Vikings fans want to point to this graph and be so excited about it, I do believe that it exposes real weaknesses about Kevin O'Connell's offensive game calling. So that's the take for the day. 5-Star Bass Solutions of Minneapolis. Check them out today. Minnesota-sports.com, a new website. Check it out. Produced by yours truly, Minnesota Tim. All right, everyone. Hope you have a good day, and thank you for choosing this podcast for your Minnesota Sports Talk. We'll talk to you soon.